Hey guys, this is Hannah and this is Bookworms Talk, and today we're going to talk about Easy by Tamara. This book it brings to light a subject that people don't want to openly discuss details about. This is a story about a girl named Jacqueline who was almost raped outside of a Halloween party, but someone saves her. And it goes through the aftermath and the after effects of that, and it is a story about empowerment, and it's a really touching story. And I can't even begin to give this book enough justice. I seriously can't. She doesn't go to the police with this. She doesn't go to the hospital. And the guy that saved her takes her back to her house, makes sure she's okay, and then she just goes about life. I mean, she just wants to forget about it. I'm gonna read you a phrase just so you can get an idea of Tamara's writing style. She doesn't skip over the almost rape scene. She goes through it in detail, and it's the most real detail. I sobbed into the cushion, tears and saliva mixing under my cheek. And then she described afterward how she just hooks herself in this straitjacket hug. And it's just these powerful phrases that just makes the book. I can't even begin to get really into the depths of the story without giving away anything, which I don't want to do. So if you haven't read it, you should go away and seriously go out and read this book. It makes you so aware, and it kicked my ass in a good way, because I have always been meaning to take self-defense classes. I'm very paranoid in that way, and this kind of kicked my ass into really getting me to look it up and go to local MMA classes. Like, it kicks your ass in a good way, because it makes you realize this thing, like, it can happen to anybody. And it makes you feel empowered after reading this, and that you don't ever want to have to be in that situation, and you want to be able to get yourself out of that situation. And so I can't even begin to say what this could do for anybody. It could get them in gear and get them to take a self-defense class and get them to understand to pay attention when they're walking to their car, and to buddy system. Like, it sounds stupid, but this sort of thing happens. And anyway, I could go on for days about just being safe after just my own personal paranoia, and then reading this. But yeah, so if you haven't read it, you should go away now, because I'm going to talk spoilers. Bye! Okay, so the emails from Landon. It took me I think 3 to 4 emails to realize I've been willing to bet that Landon is Lucas, and I was actually quite right. But you know what? Don't blame it on it being easy to find, because I don't think it was. This is me after reading Consequences. Aletha Romeg just made my mind where it permanently has to think of every little detail. It means another thing that's in this grand scheme and this whole web of everything. And Lost. Lost has done that to me too now. I just think too much. So there is this horribly awkward sketching scene that I'm going to read to you. Well, horribly awkward in a good way. What position would be the most comfortable for you? Most comfortable position. What about my head stuck under a pillow? Yeah, that phraseology was awesome. It was funny. And that's another thing about this book. I laughed a lot, and I was kind of like, I don't think I should be laughing, but I found myself laughing. And so it wasn't this really heavily weighted book, and it's definitely not light, but it's definitely not heavy. It's that balance, you know. Okay, so yeah, I was right about the Lucas being the tutor thing, and then this goes and happens, and I'm just like, really? Like, does he do everything? He's a parking officer, he's a tutor, he's a fix-it guy, he works at Starbucks. Damn. Okay, and this is actually a thing that I didn't know, and I still was kind of just like, what? Tutors can't date their students? I didn't, even if they're also students. That just blows my mind. I understand if it was like a hired tutor, but just fellow students? I don't get that. I guess it's a thing. When Jacqueline told Kennedy what happened with Buck, the way that Kennedy reacted was so appropriate. And I mean, I understand that the reason that Kennedy broke up with her was the shittiest of all shit reasons. There was just no excuse, it was just stupidity. But I thought, he's still a good guy, that he does care about her, and I don't necessarily think it was just so he could get her back. I think it was because it's the right thing to do. But, you know, then after that, he goes and sides with Buck because it would look bad for the fraternity. Yeah. Because I really didn't, my heart swelled for him, because I thought, you're a really good guy. You fucked up, okay, but you're a good person. No. Because then he sided with Buck, and all emotions that were positive of him just out the window. I had the really bad feeling that Buck would successfully rape somebody, and I kind of thought I mean, after the stairwell incident, I really thought it was going to be Jacqueline, and I was really, really like, buddy system all the time. Please, someone be with her constantly. But it ended up being Mindy, and I mean, that would make her feel so bad because she didn't turn him in. And I really thought, this is one thing I didn't quite get. I mean, I understand, but it's like hindsight's a bitch sort of way. If you had waited till the party was over, you could have said you were there. They wouldn't have had proof that there was alcohol. Like, you could have gone the next day and just said you were in shock or something, right? Like, I kind of thought that would have been good or a way out of it. I don't know. Hindsight's a bitch, like I said. Okay, switching to a lighter subject here for a minute, and we're going to discuss my love for Benji. You guys remember that student in their econ class that would just talk about her weekend in graphic detail? Well, this is, you know, his comeback right here. So she says, "Are you dying or something? Well, hacking up a lung in public isn't all that attractive. Just saying." And then Benji says, "Giving half the class an exhaustive summary every Monday morning in lurid detail of how much of an alcoholic skank you are isn't all that attractive either. Just saying." Benji, I love ya. Then that scene when Lucas tells Jacqueline about the first time that he saw her. "I noticed you the first week. Not just because of how pretty you are, though of course that played into it. It was the way you lean onto your elbows when you're listening in class, when something catches your interest. And when you laugh, it's never to get attention, it's just laughter. The way you obsessively tuck your hair behind your ear on the left side, but on the right you let it fall down like a screen. And when you're bored, you tap your foot soundlessly and move your fingers on the desktop like you're playing an instrument. I wanted to sketch you." And that wasn't creepy to me at all. That was just really sweet and observant, maybe, but not creepy in the least. Dr. Hellers really is like Lucas's guardian angel. I mean, he helped him pull his life back together after his mother died. He told him, "With what you're doing, would you be making your mother proud?" And it kicked his ass into gear, and he got into university, and he started to pull his life around. Oh my God. What happened to his mother? Dr. Hellers is the one that found Lucas and his mom. And then when Jacqueline asked Dr. Hellers about it, and he told her what happened, and how the scars on Lucas's wrists were from pulling at the restraints trying to get to his mother. And in that little section was when I figured out that the rose on his chest, his mother Rosemary, it was for her. And then he changed his first name to his mother's maiden name. Ugh, oh, the tears. And the poem that he has written on his side is the poem that his mother wrote to his father. As we read the article was bad, okay? And then when Dr. Hellers explained it, it just brought it to an entirely different level, and everything clicked now with Lucas and the way that he behaves and why he volunteers for those things Saturday morning for the self-defense classes, and everything clicked with his character. Jacqueline knew she couldn't keep the secret about her knowing about everything that happened with his mother and talking to Dr. Hellers, and she eventually got the nerve up to say something. She said that she looked up his mother's obituary and that she talked to Dr. Hellers, and he was just furious, and I get that. I really, really get that. So then she leaves, and Buck is there, and I'm just, no, because I really, really thought he was going to get away with this. I thought he got Mindy. He almost got her before, and of course he's going to do it again. It wasn't just this rivalry that he had between Kennedy. This is a thing that he has to have dominance or something. I don't even understand it. But it's not just with her. But Jacqueline, she kicked his ass. And then Lucas came running down and pretty much pummeled him. Like, he was pulped by the end of that. And then when the cops came and they said, "Good girl." And I got chills reading that. I got chills saying it. Because, yes, good girl. She learned to defend herself. She wasn't going to be the victim anymore. And then Lucas tells Jacqueline about what his father said when he was 13, when he left for work and left him and his mother there. He said, "You're the man of the house while I'm gone. Take care of your mother." If he's only 13, and that's just a thing that, I mean, even when I was little, I have a younger brother, and he'd be like, "You're the man of the house while I'm at work. Take care of your sister." I'm 3 years older. But it's a saying, and it's this thing that we say without thinking that anything would actually happen. It's a comforting saying, but he was 13, and he carried that guilt. But his father never blamed him. He blamed himself. They both blamed themselves, and it was completely pointless to sit there and feel guilty about that when it had nothing to do with them. And then Jacqueline told him what he's been telling her countless times. It's not your fault. And so we get to the epilogue, and Lucas has more of a relationship with his father now, and he met Jacqueline and they hit it off, and she's going to Oberlin for music, and then Lucas followed her there. I'm the big believer in fate, even when fate is just fucked up. Because Kennedy broke up with her and it was just this mess, and she thought, "I'm not supposed to be here." But maybe she was, because she helped Lucas like Lucas helped her. thank you again for asking me to read this, because it was so good. It was so good. And I can't even, I can't. So that's my, I can't. 2 words to describe this book, I can't. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and drop everything down there in the comments. And yeah, I will see you later next time on Bookworms Talk. Bye!